up to another good morning. Time to go. Oh, we are all looking for adventure. We are all looking for adventure. We are all.
Welcome back to the 3x5 Live
podcast.
Jessie's just complaining about her height right now.
Because I feel like I'm never in the frame completely. It's because of our height difference. It's all right. I'm over it.
Everything's figure-outable. That's what we talked about last week, guys. On this podcast, we talk about mindset, wellness, productivity. And this week, we're going to talk about work-life balance.
Or the myth of work-life balance.
Well, that was like the punchline.
Oh.
You just kind of ruined the punchline.
No, I was giving them the foreshadowing of what we're going to talk about.
Because a lot of people think there is a work-life balance.
For sure. And we're all striving every single day for it.
Yes.
And we have the guilt and the shame and the punishment that we put upon ourselves when we feel like it's out of balance. So yeah, that's what we're going to chat about today.
Yeah.
Do you want to start us off?
Yeah. So I get this question a lot. Just because I have multiple businesses, we have our properties and I run ultra marathons, and people just ask me about this work-life balance. And I truly believe that it is a myth. And if you strive for that, you're just setting yourself up for success. And
failure.
Failure, not success. And you really have to, and we've preached about this in the past, that we all have these seasons of life and we have these rhythms of life. And as you enter these different rhythms or seasons, you have to be aware of that. And it's almost like starting out the year with your partner, if you do have a partner, and saying, okay, what's this year going to look like? Looking at the year in totality and saying, hey, I know I'm going to have, like we do every year, I know I'm going to have a busy June and July, but August, we're going to be good and it's going to be hardcore family time. And then everybody's prepared. So when that June and July comes, and you're slammed and you're working long hours, whatever that season looks like for you, then everybody's on the same page. Your kids are on the same page, your wife's on the same page, and then they know the reprieve is coming in August.
Yeah.
And that's how I really like to look at these rhythms compared to just trying to create this balance. It's so hard to become successful in anything you do if you just have pure balance. You need to be out of balance to create success, in my opinion.
I have 2 points that I want to talk about. But what you said, like that transparency and communication when you're in a partnership or a relationship with somebody else, especially if there's, with our kids involved, that's always been super helpful. Like if I know that Bry's signing up for a race and we sit down and we talk about what that's going to look like for us, what is his training schedule going to look like? What are we, like if we're prepared and we communicate about it ahead of time, it's easier to navigate together and not have resentment that he's gone on a Saturday morning or whatever, because you're prepared for that. And you know that it's season, it's temporary, it's all something that we're going to work through together. So I definitely think that's a good point. I see this in like 2 different places. The first is with my grad students, I have them do like a self-care wheel or a wellness wheel. It was something that I did when I got my certification as a health coach. And there's these pillars, and we've talked about these pillars before with the goal setting podcast and whatever. But I tell them that never, ever once are you going to have a completely circular wheel of life. Like our wheel is always going to have bumps and turns and twists. And when you are like fully invested in paying attention to one area of your life, by default, there's going to be other areas that are not going to get as much attention. And so I think that is perfectly okay. And in fact, like Bryan said, in order to create something great or to do something really well, sometimes you have to pour yourself into one thing more so than everything else. So when we're striving for this idea of balance, especially, I don't know, I'm saying that it's, yes, men do this too, but I think women with that, with the children and making sure that like with your family, that you're balancing family and work, and not that you guys aren't too, but it's very heavy for us. And I think so often when I talk to my grad students, everyone's striving for this idea of balance. The other place, and I loved when you said seasons, because it's really important in the beginning of the year to think about what your seasons look like. Even, and I've talked about this before, but like with menstruation and women and the menstrual cycle, like there are even seasons within 30 days where our energy wanes and things change. And there's this book called Do Less. I talked about it before, right, by Kate Northrup. And it talks about during periods of your cycle, like the first week, that you have your period, you're feeling tired, and we put pressure on ourselves to show up the same way we do every other week. Where instead, if we just recognize that in that season, during that week, we are low energy and we are feeling lethargic. And so if we just turn inward during that time and don't do crazy social situations and put yourself where you're out in front of like 400 people doing a presentation, that listening to those rhythms are so important, and giving yourself grace when it doesn't look the way that it's always supposed to, quote unquote, look. And then during our ovulation, it feels like women are on fire. Like we could be outward and talk. And it's just this like crazy thing that happens where if you can sink into those natural rhythms as a woman, but also seasonally, right? In the wintertime, we talked about this from an Ayurvedic standpoint. You don't want to exude a lot of energy. You want to stay in, you want to eat warming foods. So maybe your health and nutrition looks a little different, but that's okay. That idea of balance, of everything always looking the same and being able to like scale it into this perfectly like balanced system, it's not going to work. So
yeah, and it's going to be exhausting too.
Yeah.
That's the thing. If you expect it, and so it's like when I'm on vacation, I'm feeling guilty that I'm at work. When I'm at work, I'm feeling guilty that I'm not with my kids. And that's just not a healthy mindset. And I think the biggest thing is being aware and communicating when you're going to go out of balance.
Mm-hmm.
When we launched, and I've told this story before, when 3x5 Life came up and the idea hit me and I started talking to Jessie about it, I said to Jessie, I said, hey, the next 6-8 weeks is going to be a season. I'm going to be stressed out. I'm going to try to birth this thing out of thin air. Like, do you have my support? Do you think this is something that we should chase? And she's like, I'm all in. So she knew, when I had to, leave dinner right afterwards and go work for a few hours and not help with the dishes, there wasn't that resentment because she knew like, hey, we signed up for this. We're going to do it. And it comes down to communicating. And she knew there was going to be an end to this season. So I think that's really what you need to, when you think about work-life balance, it's really looking at it from zooming out view of the year ahead, the next few weeks ahead, and when you're going to have those highs and lows.
And I love the idea of, like you said, that everything is temporary. Like that makes it feel like when you're in those heavy seasons, like you're in those moments where it does feel overwhelming. And we talked about that discomfort that comes usually before something really great and wonderful happens. And that uncomfortable feeling that you feel sometimes, know that that's a temporary feeling that then leads usually to something really good afterwards. So, and I really quick before we let them go, it reminds me when you were talking about like when you're home, feeling guilty that you're not at work, when you're at work, that ties right with that alter ego conversation that we've had before. Like if you can figure out what you want your persona to be when you are at home, and then only be that person at home and be able to focus and let go of all that outside noise, you're going to have so much more quality time with the people you love. You're not going to feel that guilt or that pull to be elsewhere. There's no noise in your ears that's telling you that you're supposed to be elsewhere. So being very mindful of when you're at work, you are busting your butt and you're working really hard. But when you're at home, you're playing and you're with the people you love and you're doing the things that you want to do, and letting go of what you should or shouldn't be doing and just be in the moment. Like we talked about, being present is when your feet and your mind are in the same place at the same time. Like that's such a important reminder that is how we should be living.
Yep, exactly. Exactly. Mm-hmm. And that also ties into Cal Newport's work, deep work and
digital minimalism.
Digital minimalism. Like he's created this whole movement where people literally at the end of their day, they close out all their emails, they go through, make sure everything's done, and they say shut down complete, and they close their laptop. Sounds so corny, so silly, but then he takes the extreme, like shut down complete, laptops down, phones away for the rest of the night, and he literally is going into that evening with his family to really have that designation or delineation between the two. But don't be hard on yourself. Work-life balance. Yeah, we think it's a myth. Our opinion.
Yeah, totally our opinion.
Until next week, guys, we hope you enjoyed.
Yep, take care.
Hello world, wake me up to another good morning, time to go.